we're just really open to whatever opportunity one thing brings. I think even just starting the show has already led to like this speaking engagement that I would have never expected. And so just being really open to starting something, taking that action, and then seeing where it goes, because it'll probably lead to something you never imagined.
Welcome to Starve the Doubts. My name is Jared Easley, and today I'm joined by a couple of young ladies, and I don't feel like I deserve to be the moderator of this discussion, but I am. So, with that said, we have Kim Fox from American University in Cairo. Hi, Kim.
Hey, how are you guys?
We also have Erica Mandy from The Newsworthy.
Hello.
And then Allison Melody from Food Hills Nation.
Honored to be here.
Okay, so we're going to start with you, Kim. We're going to do finish this sentence. Finish this sentence. When in Vegas.
Keep to yourself and don't make trouble.
Keep to yourself and don't make trouble. All right. Allison, when in Vegas.
Find the healthy smoothie bar so that you can recover the next morning.
Erica, when in Vegas.
Go to the NAB show.
Go to the NAB show. Speaking of, that's where we are. And I'm a little bit overwhelmed. All right, next finish this sentence. The last time I was overwhelmed was?
Maybe in high school?
Was that prom or what was that? Don't answer that. Okay, Allison, last time I was overwhelmed was?
When I heard Kim's answer, because I was like, how is that possible? And how come I want to be you?
Yeah, it's overwhelming to get to hang out with Kim. And Erica, the last time you were overwhelmed?
Today, because I still have to do my show tonight and go to the Podcast Movement meetup.
Yes. Okay, so kudos to that. So let's just have some real talk for a moment. Kim, there's going to be some people that are listening don't know about you or what you're up to. Would you be willing to catch them up?
Yes, I would. My name is Kim Fox. I'm an Ohioan, so born and raised in Akron, Ohio. I went to college at Ohio University, did radio, morning radio in Buffalo and Cincinnati and a couple of other places. And at some point, I moved to Cairo, Egypt to teach audio production. So and now I have a podcast called Ekia Maser, and that brings me to meet you guys here, Podcast Movement. Awesome.
Man, okay. You just said, I'm going to leave Ohio and go to Cairo. What was that like?
Yeah, that was the decision. I just took that leap of faith. I talked myself out of a 3-year contract to do a 9-month contract. If I don't like it, I'm teaching, I can just move back to Ohio or something like that. But I was teaching audio production, really loved it. The students are very interested in it. So far, we've won 40 international awards for the narrative nonfiction podcast that we produce. So yeah, it's really caught on, and I've been there 9 years.
Congratulations on that. Let's move on over to Allison. Allison, for those that don't know, let's take a big swim in Lake U.
Sure. Well, I know you, Jared, because I'm a podcaster as well, and I host the Food Heals podcast, and that was truly born out of my passion for helping people realize that a healing miracle was possible and that the body was designed to heal itself if given the tools that needed to do so. And so that's the message that I am here to spread, whether it is in my public speaking, whether it's through my podcast, whether it's through my video content. I just want the world to know that we can heal ourselves and live the healthiest, happiest life possible.
Well said. And Erica, people should know about you. And if they don't, shame on them. All right. So for those that were shaming, go ahead.
So yeah, I spent about 10 years in TV news and did broadcast journalism, and decided after working at CBS Los Angeles that I wanted to start my own show and make news a little bit easier, faster, unbiased. And so I started The Newsworthy, which is all the day's news in less than 10 minutes. I'm just trying to make it easier and more convenient for people to stay informed with what's going on in the world.
And doing a daily podcast, that's just simple, right? No problem.
Takes no time.
No time at all. Nothing to worry about. Your life has never been so less stressed, right? Okay, let's come on back over this way. Let's go to Kim. Kim, why are you here in Las Vegas?
I am also here for the Broadcast Education Association conference. It goes at the same time as NAB every year in Vegas. I've been coming here for about 12 years or so. I'm very active with the organization as a member of the board of directors. Yes. And we had lots of panels and the awards that I talked about. I won 2 awards for this conference. So yeah, I'll be here for a couple more days and hope to hang out with you guys a little bit more.
And Erica, let's go on over to you. What's going on? Why are you in Las Vegas?
Here at NAB Show because you, Jared, asked me to take part in our panel tomorrow. And I'm really excited about it. So I'm going to be talking about scripting. Allison over here is going to be talking about interviewing. So I'll let her talk about that. But yeah, the more people we can get excited about podcasting, the better.
Yes, good answer. And Allison.
Well, like Erica said, I'm here to talk about interviewing, and it is thanks to you, this amazing podcast host that is, all right, he's like, enough. You can't see us right now, but he's like, enough. All right. But thank you, Jared. But I do want to tell a quick story. So one day, Erica and I were at this wonderful event called Podfest, and we were walking down the path towards our hotel, and we were like, oh, it's so great that we're speaking at Podfest together. As we're walking down, we realized, Erica said to me, Jared reached out and he said, oh, do you want to speak at NAB? And I grabbed her hand and I said, I'm speaking at NAB too. And from then on, a friendship was forged that has been one of the highlights of my life. So thank you, Jared.
How crazy is that?
You're a super connector.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to be, but that worked out. Okay. I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, that's the end of the podcast. No. Okay. Well, all right, so we're going back to Erica just for a moment here. Erica, what's something you've learned this year that you think is a good takeaway for anybody that's wanting to do something cool?
That you really need to take action to see results.
Got to take some action.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I started my show, obviously I took that action, but I'm really seeing the nitty gritty of specific action to get more listeners. I mean, literally, you have to work very hard to get the results that you're looking for. It's not just going to come. And I think sometimes in the back of our heads, we think, well, if we do this, then it'll just appear. And so definitely just go for it and don't procrastinate whatever you're thinking about doing. Take that action.
Well said. Kim, what do you say to someone who's feeling discouraged?
Just get out there and do it. I mean, you have to sometimes motivate yourself, or at least surround yourself with people who can motivate you, and just kind of make a plan, even if it's a short plan. Tangible goals are always good. And then just like she said, just do it. So find that inspiration and get to work.
And Allison, what do you do when the plans change? What do you do when the plans change?
I feel like I got singled out on a new question here. All right, let me think. I mean, what's coming to mind is like, speak up for yourself and say, all right, this is what I need to happen with this new change of plan, and here's how this is going to work, and make it work. So if the plans change because of someone else, then how can you make sure that you are both making something that works for you? And if the plans change because of you, well, then be grateful for that. Speak your truth, stand in your power, be where you need to be. I feel like I'm rambling because I don't like your question. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, what a great host. Okay. Thanks, Allison. Can you get that knife out of my bag? All right, so this is my favorite part of this particular discussion. This is called Pass the Mic, and it's not just passing the mic. You have to actually answer the question. But we'll start here with Kim. Kim, you have to ask a question to the person on your left. Everyone has to ask to the person on their left. One question, any question.
I am going to start by asking you, who inspires you?
That's a great question. Jared, your question was great too. I apologize. But someone that inspires me greatly is Erica Mandy. I'm just kidding. She really is, though. But if you want to know the truth, I'm really inspired by thought leaders like Gabrielle Bernstein, who's one of my mentors, who really taught me that I had to transfer my trauma into triumph. And if I was able to work on my trauma and my pain, then I could fully show up in the world as who I am and who I want to be and what I can serve and give back to the world. And so she's someone I really, truly admire.
Good at this. I love that.
Erica, who does your hair? Erica, what is one of the most inspirational podcasts, everyone's laughing at me, out there that has transformed the way that you live your life or you do your business? Either one.
That's an interesting one because I tend to jump around a lot. I don't know that I have one big, massive podcast that is life-changing for me. I think one of the first podcasts, I hope people don't roll their eyes because it is a big one, but I first came across Tim Ferriss's podcast. And that was one of the first that got me thinking about business and what this podcasting thing could be. And then I also listened to Chris Guillebeau's Side Hustle School, was really starting to think about the business side of things. And this was during my commute to my hour-long commute, I might add, in Los Angeles, where there's lots of traffic, to my job as a TV news reporter. And so I'm thankful to those for getting me to start thinking about business. But then from there, I've really, really hopped around and I listen to what I need in that moment. So it really just depends on what I'm going through and what I want to learn. But I tend to listen to a variety of business type podcasts.
That was a great question, Allison.
And not such a great answer. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, Erica, your answer was good, too.
You a question?
Oh, it's
Yes,
it's Erica's turn. I am not immune to this game.
How do you feel now that you are full-time podcast movement as of January 1st, 2018?
All right. First of all, thank you for that. And it is a very wonderful experience because all of us can relate when you're balancing all these different things. And then you're like, none of them are really quite where you want them to be. And it doesn't matter how hard you try. You're like, oh, I failed at this or I messed up on this one. And, now my wife hates me. And no, she doesn't hate me, but you understand. So, yeah, I would say I'm thankful. And, yeah, I've learned a lot just in the short time that we've been full time. It's like, okay, now I got to, it doesn't mean you can just relax and just take it easy now. Now the grind is really even more intense because, okay, this is it. So I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to let Dan down. I don't want to let my family down. I don't want to let myself down, and there's a community that cares and, wants to be a part of this and they deserve the best. So that's kind of cool. It's good to get up and say, okay, I'm going to really push forward. And so an example of that is yesterday I was kind of going through Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and just messaging people in Las Vegas that are podcasters, inviting them to a meetup tonight. And I thought, well, this doesn't scale. Like this really probably isn't going to translate to anything other than people telling me no or a few people coming to a meetup. And I was reminded, I was like, no, this is the work. Like this is saying hello. This is being kind to people. This is inviting them. A few may come and those few may get something out of a conversation with one of you three or someone else that says, okay, this is something that I really needed for this particular place I'm at in my podcast. So to me, that's exciting because I've had that experience and I'm sure on some level you have as well.
You were that experience for me also.
Wow.
Because when I first decided to get into podcasting, I signed up for Podcast Movement, really not knowing anybody in the industry. I just came across it and thought that's what I should do. And you sent out an email saying, thanks so much for buying this ticket. Let me know if I can do anything for you. So of course I reply and I'm like, sure, let's get on a phone call. And
it's like she wants to talk on the phone. Oh,
made him find
backfire.
time. And it was, you introduced me to somebody else that introduced me to someone else. And now that started my whole podcasting community. And so truly, those things do make a difference. Awesome. And I'm an example of that. So thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Okay. Man, Kim, I don't know what to ask because you've already dominated everything. So it's like, yeah, I guess that's my question is, you've had some success. And what are some goals? What are some things that you haven't achieved yet that, you want to shoot for?
More passport stamps. I mean, travel the world. I was invited to host a podcast workshop in Budapest earlier this year. Last year, I did something similar in Beirut. Next month, I'm going to Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan to talk podcasts. And so I want to do more of that.
No big deal, right? That old thing. All right. So that was fun. Thank you for obliging that. Okay. And now, as we start to wrap up, there's a couple questions I'd like to ask. So one of them kind of got hinted on, but I'm going to ask you to still work with me here. This is for everyone. We'll start again with you, Kim. And Kim, that is, who is doing something that interests you?
I like Ear Hustle. I love narrative nonfiction podcasts, as we were talking about, and The Stoop. So I like to see the people of color jumping into the space, and seeing that diversity. I do like Oprah's, what is it?
Super Soul Sunday.
Man, the Super Soul Sunday. They're nice and punchy, like 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, you're just in it. Very inspired. So I'm trying to figure out, how can I, take that inspiration and do the things that I'm trying to do, which is continuing to be involved in this podcast community, continuing to inspire young people to get out there and tell their stories. That's my ultimate goal, or my continual goal. Just keep on doing that kind of thing.
Who is doing something that interests you?
All of the people in the health space that have now built this community that didn't used to exist. So when I started out in the health space, I was like an outlier. No one understood the green juice. And now there is a green juice bar on every corner of my street. I do live in LA. However, the movement is totally growing and the movement is definitely shifting. And so the people that inspire me are the people on Instagram, the people starting podcasts, the people who are coming to Podcast Movement and doing something healthy and going to all of these events and trying to help people get healthier, because this didn't exist. And if it did, I didn't know about it. This didn't exist in the mainstream media when I started. And the fact that it does inspires me every day and just gets me more and more excited and fired up about what I do and how to help others.
Yeah, that makes me want to host podcast workshops in foreign countries. Go ahead, Erica. Yeah, who's doing something that interests you?
I'll go in a little bit of a different direction. And I'm excited and inspired by how podcasting is going to be changing in the future with some of these platforms. So smart speakers, how Spotify is bringing in some video options. So I'm excited about that with Alexa, Google News Narrative, all of those things. And I want to make sure I'm working on getting on those. I should be on Google News Narrative now, but and my Alexa's working on it. But I think those are the things that are really exciting for the whole podcasting community, because as more people are thinking about voice, we're all going to have more discovery and the technology. How are people going to be interacting with our podcast via voice? So that's what excites me.
All right, ladies, it's that time. We'd like to close out with final thoughts. Kim, bring us home. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts is I've been really active this week doing a lot of things. And I'm like, should I go over and try to find this podcast movement mixer or not? So I'm really glad I took the time out to come over and meet you guys and meet some new people. Really inspired by just this short conversation. So thank you for having it, and keep doing what you're doing.
Allison, final thoughts.
I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm in deep gratitude for the fact that I'm here, for the fact that I've made a new friend, for the fact that Jared and Dan have enough confidence in myself and in Erica to invite us to speak here. And I'm just in gratitude for the fact that I chose to not stick to a 9-to-5 schedule, do what I wanted to do, start living my dreams. And last year, I decided I'm going to be a speaker, and I started speaking. And now I'm lucky enough to speak all across the U.S. and Europe. And you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it. And if you truly believe in yourself, other people will too. So speak your truth. And that's my message.
Amen. All right,
Yes.
Erica.
Yeah, Allie and I were talking about this earlier this evening, that we're just really open to whatever opportunity one thing brings. I think even just starting the show has already led to like this speaking engagement that I would have never expected. And so just being really open to starting something, taking that action, and then seeing where it goes, because it'll probably lead to something you never imagined.
I lied. There's one last question. And that question is, Kim, and then, of course, Allison and Erica, where can people connect with you online?
I'm pretty active on Twitter, Kim Fox, WOSU, KIMFOX, WOSU. I used to work at WOSU in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm on the other platforms as OH Radio Girl, Snapchat, Instagram, wherever you want to find me on social.
Foodhealsnation.com. All social media is at foodhealsnation.
TheNewsworthy.com and Erica Mandy News on Instagram.
Ladies, thank you. Enjoy Vegas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jared.